Stonewall Rebellion by Tabitha Tease. Do you ever wonder what it would be like to be completely shunned from society? To be completely shut out by all of your family and friends in an honest effort to be yourself? Well, that was the reality of many of the outcasts termed Stonewallers who took refuge at the Stonewall Inn in the neighborhood of Greenwich Village, New York. Many have heard about the Stonewall Rebellion, but cannot say what the movement was all about. When former President Barack Obama referenced the Stonewall riots in his inaugural speech, it was the first time in U.S. history that the lesbian, gay, bisexual, and transgender community was positively recognized. The Stonewall Inn was a gay establishment that ran without a liquor license. Because if you served homosexuals in 1969 New York, you could not obtain a legal liquor license. Not only was it a gay bar and inn, it was also home to any outsider that needed somewhere to go. It was like a family. There were no prejudices inside the walls of the Stonewall Inn. Everyone was an equal. All you had to do was come up with $3 for the cover charge that some would get from stealing or begging. But after that, you were in for the night, free to drink and do as you please, no questions asked. The mafia that ran New York collected some of the money from the pub owners, and in turn, the inn owners would have them use their connections to pay off police to keep the doors of the inn open. Yet during the evening hours of June 27th, 1969, the police raided the doors of the Stonewall Inn. And from that day forward, it was never the same. For the next 6 days, chaos broke out day and night in Greenwich Village. Now, the people of the Stonewall Inn considered it to be a very personal thing. The police raiding their home, safe place, security blanket. They were not going to go down without a fight. Only a few Stonewallers were arrested on defending the inn. Songs were sang, chants were chanted, kick lines were commenced. Things were being thrown from one side to the other. It was utter chaos. One of the most well-known Stonewallers, Marsha Pay It No Mind Johnson, was at the Stonewall Inn on the first night of the riots. Many eyewitnesses have identified her as one of the main instigators of the uprising. She seems to have lived a very interesting life. So if you're interested in the subject, I would definitely give it a Google. I had the pleasure of interviewing a strong and beautiful native German woman, Marge Scanlon, who remembers her time in the rough streets of New York, 1969. Although she wasn't in the middle of all of the historic protests or seen fighting for her rights, she does have an amusing account for a time she worked in a deli and overhearing the police officers of the time chat during their lunch. She said, "My husband and I were going through a bit of a rough time money-wise. I don't remember the exact years I worked there, but I worked in a deli around 1969. The local police officers would come into the deli and we would hear all kinds of stories from them. It was always the highlight of my day, talking to them, hearing the gossip of the city. It was in the vicinity of Greenwich Village, where I believe the Stonewall riots happened. They came in and would eat their sandwiches and discuss the faggots up the road and all kinds of nasty words they used at that time. Unfortunately, it was not such a nice time for gay people. They had a lot of shit to put up with. I remember one particular day, a group of police officers came in and were talking amongst themselves about shutting down the Stonewall Inn. I didn't know what it was at that time, but I figured that they must be doing something illegal. I was on the side of the law. Marjorie Scanlon was absolutely hilarious to interview. She had me rolling in laughter during my time with her. It was so interesting to sit down with someone who lived in the same time and place of such a historical event. There was no denying the way her eyes would light up, talking about the past. And just like anything else, slowly but surely, things quieted down in Greenwich Village. The Stonewall was successfully shut down by police. But what no one realized at the time was that this was history in the making. This was a major, significant event that would have a huge impact on the homosexual community for many, many years to come. Just a short year after the chaotic Stonewall Rebellion, June 26, 1970, there was the first LGBT march in history. Today, National LGBT Month is the month of June for that very reason. And although the original Stonewall Inn closed its doors December 1969, as of 2012, it has now been reopened to the public. And as a matter of fact, it is the first LGBT-related national landmark. This time in history certainly made a huge impact on the world, and that, my friends, is a revolution.